Have you ever felt like you're doing everything for God, but still feeling empty? You serve, you give, you show up, you try. And yet, somewhere underneath, you're tired. You're holding things together with your own strength, and it's wearing you out. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. It's possible to be busy for God without actually surrendering to Him. You can do all the right things while still gripping the wheel of your own life, and that grip is exhausting. But there's a different way to live. It's called surrender. And to most people, surrender sounds like losing. It sounds like giving up, waving the white flag. But in the kingdom of God, surrender is not losing. It's the beginning of winning. It's the moment you stop fighting God and start resting in Him. Today, we're going to walk through 7 things that happen when you completely surrender to God. These are not small changes. They are life-altering shifts that affect your mind, your heart, your decisions, and your peace. By the end of this message, you'll understand why surrender is the most powerful thing you can do with your life. Number 1, your burdens finally start to lift. When you're carrying everything yourself, life is heavy. You carry the pressure of providing, the weight of your mistakes, the anxiety of the unknown, and you carry it all as if God doesn't exist. But surrender changes everything. It transfers the weight from your shoulders to His. Matthew 11:28-30 says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." Notice that Jesus didn't say He would remove every problem. He said He would share the yoke, and a yoke shared is a burden halved. The enemy wants you to believe surrender makes you weak, that handing things to God means you're not doing your part. But the opposite is true. Surrender is not passivity, it's partnership. You still work, but you work from rest instead of from exhaustion. You still face problems, but you don't face them alone. And for the first time in a long time, the weight begins to lift. Not because life got easier, because you stopped carrying it alone. Number 2, your peace stops depending on your circumstances. Before surrender, your peace is fragile. It rises and falls with your bank account, your health, your relationships, your plans. When things go well, you feel peaceful. When things fall apart, your peace falls apart with them. But when you completely surrender to God, something changes deep inside. Your peace becomes anchored in God rather than in your situation. Philippians 4:7 calls it the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. It doesn't make sense to the world because it doesn't depend on the world. The enemy wants to steal this peace by keeping you focused on what you can't control. He shows you every bad report, every closed door. But surrender says, God is in control, and I trust Him. You still see the storm. You just don't drown in it anymore. You still feel the pressure. You just don't crumble under it. And that is a miracle the world cannot explain. The same situation that used to rob your sleep no longer has that power. The one who holds your life is bigger than the thing shaking it. Peace that depends on circumstances is borrowed. Peace that comes from surrender is owned. Number 3, your decisions stop being driven by fear. Before surrender, fear is often the loudest voice in your life. It tells you to play it safe, to control every outcome. And so you make decisions out of fear, not out of faith. You stay in the wrong job because leaving is scary. You stay silent when you should speak. You hold on to what God is asking you to release, afraid of empty hands. But when you surrender to God, fear loses its veto power. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control." The enemy wants you to believe fear is wisdom, that worrying means you're being careful. But fear is not wisdom. It's a liar wearing a respectable suit. When you surrender, you begin to ask a different question. Not, what if this fails? But, what is God asking me to do? And then you move, even when your hands are shaking. You step into the calling. You speak the truth in love. You release what God says to release. And you discover that courage is not the absence of fear. It's obedience in the presence of fear. Surrender takes the decision out of your fear and puts it into God's hands. Number 4. Your identity stops being built on what you do. This is a deep one. Many of us have built our identity on performance. We are what we achieve. We are what we produce. We are the praise we receive, the numbers we hit, the roles we fill. And when those things wobble, we wobble. When we fail, we feel like we've failed as a person. Surrender breaks that lie. When you completely surrender to God, you begin to receive your identity from Him, not from your output. Galatians 2:20 says, "I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave Himself for me." The enemy wants you to tie your worth to your work, exhausted, proving yourself over and over. But surrender says, "I am already loved. I am already accepted. I am already enough, because of what Christ did, not because of what I do." And when that truth lands, it changes everything. You serve from rest instead of striving. You give without needing to be seen. You can fail and still know who you are. Because your identity is no longer a house of cards built on performance. It's a house built on the rock of God's love, and that house cannot fall. Number 5. Your prayer life stops being a negotiation. Before surrender, prayer can become a transaction. I'll obey if you bless. I'll give if you protect. I'll serve if you open this door. It's bargaining with God, treating Him like a business partner instead of a father, always trying to earn what He already wants to give. But when you completely surrender to God, prayer changes. It stops being a negotiation and starts being a relationship. You stop praying to convince God and start connecting with Him. Luke 22:42 shows us Jesus Himself in the Garden of Gethsemane, saying, "Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours, be done." Notice the order. Jesus was honest about what He wanted. He didn't pretend, but He surrendered the outcome. The enemy wants you to treat prayer like a vending machine. Put in the right words, get the right result. But prayer was never meant to be a vending machine. It's a conversation. And surrender is what turns it into one. You begin to pray, not to change God's mind, but to align your heart with His. You ask boldly, but you trust completely. And in that posture, you find something better than getting what you want. Peace with whatever God decides. That's freedom. Number 6. You start hearing God more clearly. This is one of the most surprising benefits of surrender. When your life is full of your own plans, your own noise, your own agenda, it's hard to hear God. You're talking so much that you can't listen. You're so busy telling God what you want that you miss what He's saying. Surrender quiets the noise. It hushes your demands long enough for His voice to come through. John 10:27 says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." The enemy wants to keep your life loud, because a loud life can't hear God. He fills your schedule, your feed, your thoughts, so the still small voice gets drowned out. But when you surrender, you begin to create space. Space to be still, space to listen, space to ask, "Lord, what do you want?" And slowly, you start recognizing His voice. Not always in dramatic ways, sometimes in a quiet conviction, sometimes in a door that opens or closes, sometimes in a peace that settles over a decision. Surrender doesn't make God louder, it makes you quieter. And in the quiet, you hear what you've been missing: direction, wisdom, warning, comfort, the voice of the one who has been speaking all along. Number 7. You finally experience rest that lasts. This is the crown of surrender. Before surrender, even your rest is restless. You take a day off and feel guilty. You lie down, but your mind keeps running. You're present, but not really, because deep down, you believe everything depends on you. And if it does, you can never truly rest. Hebrews 4:9-10 says, "So then, there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For whoever has entered God's rest has also rested from his works, as God did from His." The enemy wants you to believe that rest must be earned, that you can rest only when everything is finished. But everything is never finished. There's always another task. another problem, another thing to manage. If rest waits for completion, rest never comes. Surrender breaks that cycle. It lets you rest in the middle of unfinished work, because you trust the one who finishes what he starts. You begin to rest the way God rested, not from exhaustion, but from completion. Not because it's done, but because it's his. And that rest is not a nap, it's a lifestyle. Your body rests, your mind rests, your soul rests, because you finally understand the most freeing truth in the universe. The world doesn't depend on you. It depends on God, and he's got it. Let's bring it all together. Surrender lifts your burdens, but control keeps them heavy. Surrender anchors your peace, but control leaves it fragile. Surrender silences your fear, but control amplifies it. Surrender rebuilds your identity, but control exhausts it. Surrender turns prayer into relationship, but control turns it into negotiation. Surrender lets you hear God, but control drowns him out. And surrender gives you rest, but control steals it. These are not small things. They are the difference between surviving your life and living it. And the moment you decide to completely surrender to God, everything begins to shift. Your heart becomes lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. Your faith becomes stronger. You were never meant to carry the weight of your own life. You were meant to hand it to the one who holds everything, and you're not the only one who has been trying too hard. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear that surrender is not weakness, it's wisdom. And in the comments, write these words: I surrender all. Let that be your declaration today. James 4:7 says, Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Notice the order. Submit first, then resist. Surrender is not the end of your strength. It's the beginning of God's. So today, friend, open your hands. Let go of the wheel. Stop fighting for control, and start resting in his. The life you've been trying so hard to hold together is safe in his hands, and it always has been. Surrender isn't giving up. It's giving in to the one who loves you most.